It's the LA Probate Expert, and this is part of my series where I bring to you vendors, teams, professionals who can help you increase your income as well as build your long-term wealth. One way to get there, you always hear me talk about the importance of talking to more people, and one way to do that is leveraging technology and systems. And really somebody who has really transformed my business in the last couple of weeks, I want to say 3 weeks or so, is Damon Jones with Purpose Video Services. And his basic function, or his basic company mission, is he helps businesses get more customers online by increasing the revenue with video and targeted social media marketing. Damon, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Give me a little background. Where'd you grow up, and then how'd you get into social media marketing?
Well, I originally I'm born in Texas, but raised in the city of Compton, California.
Oh, now you're bragging.
Oh yeah, city of Compton. No. But I after growing up in Compton, being in the military for about 9 years in the Air Force as military police, I wanted to be LAPD, LA Sheriff when I got out. That didn't work out. So short time, after that, I started buying and flipping properties and things like that. But over a period of time, I realized that I've always been a creative. So when it came to the creative aspect, painting at an early age, just anything that I'd put my hands on, it was just easy for me. So fast forward to the day when I started Purpose Video Services, I realized that creativity was at the foundation of everything that I do, and it's based upon the editing aspect. So whenever I have a project, it's based upon shooting for the edit, which means I already have the vision of exactly what needs to happen. After I talk to a client, I can actually sculpt that vision into what they can't put together in their mind. Is something that automatically clicks with me.
That was my experience. I have to say, I'm not a creative. I'm more of a producer, and I feel like I generate ideas and generate activity. And the video part for me, I like doing because it leverages my time, but I don't really have the artistic eye or the experience with the cameras. And I have to tell you, it was amazing to me how you took my vision. And we didn't talk that much about it. We talked a bit, we had a couple phone calls at a time, but you took my vision and ended up with a product that was really my vision. So tell me about that. How do you get in the, and I think marketing has to be authentic, right? Otherwise you can't use my video for another person. It doesn't work. So how'd you get in my mind? What's the process to understand what the client's looking for?
The first thing I do is when somebody reaches out to me, with the explosion of technology, I'll actually check out and see if they have a website, check out the platforms. I really dive into, even before I talk to somebody, I try to find out exactly what their vision is for their customers, and just kind of see a common theme. And what I usually come up with is I'm able to determine who their ideal customers are in most cases, even before I ask them. But when I get on that first call, I ask the basic questions that will find out exactly, okay, who is your ideal client? That way, whenever I scope that video, it's based upon the scripting, because if the messaging isn't right, you're not going to attract those clients that you've always been looking for. So it's all about quality versus quantity. So when I saw your videos and how you post, you do excellent videos, but I could see that there just needed a little touch here and there, and I tweaked it, as far as the messaging. All you had to do was be Bill, and you showed up. You gave exactly who you are. You didn't have to think too much about anything outside of that. And like you said, your specialty is not the filming aspect. You are a producer and so forth, but you should, you shouldn't have to worry about that. You should just be able to run your business and allow a professional to focus on the other aspects that are going to get you a higher return on your investment. So it's something that's simple for me, but it's not easy for a lot of people. And I don't share that to impress you, but to impress upon you that how important it is to have someone that really cares about your business and learns about your business before just saying, okay, I can shoot a video for you. That's fine, but I need to know a little bit of background on who you are, what you do, who you're trying to attract, and what's your vision for your business. That's the most important thing. But like I said, before I even do any of that, before I even speak to the business owner or entrepreneur, I've got an idea of what that looks like because of the social media presence and everything else. But it always starts with the website and the social media presence.
Got it. And you really hit it for me. You know, we just started working together, and I got the video, the first video we've done together back from you. I loved it. I sent to people. Everybody I showed to loved it. Put it on my social media. The thing's blown up. I have over 22,000 views, 22,000 minutes. And on top of that, it has raised up the rest of my social media video, including my YouTube channel. It's over double my YouTube. So it means people are seeing that video and then that much more on my YouTube channel as a result of that. So it's amazing, the results right away. I feel like I discovered nuclear weapons, and you gave me one and some buttons. I don't know what to do with them yet. We're going to continue to talk about that. So I know that everybody would use these technologies if they knew how to convert them into money. So how do you sit down with an entrepreneur who's looking to make an investment and say, well, I have to put this money in advance and then hope it ends up bringing me back, business of value more than that or over time? How do you make those discussions with entrepreneurs considering your service?
Well, basically what happens is when somebody reaches out to me, let's just say, for example, I'll share with you the customer journey. And basically what that is when somebody says, hey, you know what, I want to find out exactly what you do. So I'll schedule a first call as an initial discovery call, because I want to make sure that I can add value first and foremost. So how I do that is by asking questions of what their vision, what their goal is, because at the end of the day, it's not about the money for me. If I can't bring value to the client, I will let a person know, you know what, this just won't be a good fit because I can't meet your goal. But I need to ask the questions first to find out exactly what they're trying to do, because usually there's a point A and a point B. And usually what happens, there's a gap in between that pain point, that problem that somebody needs to solve. So I try to strategize of how can I bridge that gap to make that problem a reality, to get that return on investment. So when it comes to the value aspect, a lot of people, they are fearful or apprehensive about taking that step forward because they're like, I don't know, it's going to be too expensive or things like that. But a lot of times what I have to share is like, is it a thing of value or is it a thing of price? Because when it comes down to quality leads, what are you willing to invest in your business to get that return? That way you're going to be dealing with more qualified leads versus the quantity of leads. But when you're dealing with the aspect of the ideal client and you know your target audience, that's the beautiful part about video and social media marketing and so forth. You can target the demographics, you can target any aspect and be able to track it with your analytics. So basically that's something that when I sit down with someone, that's the first part, is that I ask them the questions, find out who the ideal clients are. Next step is we schedule a Zoom call or even an in-person. That way I can even go deeper to find out exactly what their short and long-term goals are. That way, by the time we get through, they know exactly what the whole process is. And at the end of it, if there's something, if it's a value add that I can bring to them, I'll make an offer at that point and share, okay, this is based upon what I see. Phase one should be you having a brand video with a couple of testimonials. Phase two, then we'll look at maybe if you want monthly content created for you, a couple of videos that you can slowly drip out through your social media or through your marketing channels as far as your email. It just depends on where they want to go. But usually phase one is the foundation of everything, which is creating the brand video and testimonials. And then we build from there. But most people don't have that basic structure in place because a lot of companies, unfortunately, out here today, they're just all about making the money one time and not building relationships. Right. So that's how it starts with me.
I think, I've been around a while. I've seen a thing or two. It seems more than ever, both before the pandemic, during the pandemic, more so, and then now even more so, the importance of establishing relationships with people who do business with you or refer you business. That, I heard the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, say their goal is to create an emotional relationship with their customers. I thought, that's odd. I just thought it was cheap and easy. That is true. but they really want their customers to feel emotionally attached to them being the source of cheap and easy. And it got me thinking, well, if they want an emotional connection, how much more so do I need to have with attorneys I work with? They don't have to cry on my shoulder. They have to feel that I'm reliable. They have to feel that I'm their partner in their business, and clients as well, that can help them manage their most important asset. They feel comfortable and confident with me. So it is about that emotional side. So you deal with customers, and in my case, I feel like I had a brand identified, and you figured out what I was and created a video right up front. I'm sure that many customers come to you, they haven't done that initial work where they have not clarified their value proposition and their brand. Do you take them through that process? Do you direct them somewhere to get that? How does somebody who's just an attorney or a probate attorney or a estate planning attorney, how do they go from being an attorney to a brand that you're able to work with to generate business for?
And that the first call is exactly where that starts. That's how I discover where they are, where they'd like to be, and I'll show them how to get to that point. Even if they're at the point where, hey, I just got my logo completed, or I just got trademark, whatever it is, that call will help me determine, okay, which direction I need to, send them in. Because I have a team of people around me that I trust that will be able to assist them. If there's something that I can't assist them with, it's part of the whole structure of how we start that foundation to help them move forward. But yes, if somebody doesn't have an idea of which direction they want to go, that's the guidance that I do provide. I don't consider myself a videographer, a producer or anything like that. I believe that the correct title for me is lead acquisition strategist, because I look at, okay, what type of leads are you looking for? Of course, qualified leads, but not just any leads. Just like myself, all businesses are my customers, but there's a certain criteria of businesses that I'm looking for. I decided to specialize in business owners and entrepreneurs because that's where I've been able to bring the most value. And that's why I love so much what I do, is that just a simple video, short or long, just knowing how to make it resonate with the audience, that's powerful, especially this day and age. You have to have video.
I think video is so important, so critical, so powerful compared to other forms. But at the same time, you can't just shoot great videos. And you know this. I've seen attorneys I work with, clients of mine, or attorneys I aspire to work with, and I always check their YouTube channel. You may know I interview attorneys almost every week. And so I always check them out first to try to understand how to approach them. It's amazing how many, it's almost like the more money they spend on the videos, the fewer views they have. And it's not all about views, it's about the right views. But it's kind of hard if you only have 5 or 10 people who've seen your video. It's hard to imagine how you generate business off of that. And so that seems to me a big part of your competition is they sell them on, here's your deliverable. This deliverable just doesn't really solve your problem, right? And so the whole thing is about being clear. What would you say to somebody who, obviously it's cheaper to sell the wrong product. Obviously it's easy.
Right.
The shortcut always sounds easier, the price. What would you say to the customer who's evaluating you, evaluating another company? My guess is the other one's cheaper, is going to give them more stuff for the same price. What's your advice to them to have them focus on the value? How would you address that to somebody who's considering your services versus competition?
Well, that's a great question. We kind of touched on that a second ago about price versus value.
Right.
Quality versus quantity. So it always goes to relationship for me. I can give people what they want to hear, or I can give them what they need to hear. But in most cases, when I give a person what they need to hear, of course, in love, the thing is that I'm looking at the partnership that I build with people. So the thing about the value is that if I shoot just that one video, I'm doing them a disservice. It's like when you go to a doctor, they don't just give you a diagnosis as soon as you come in the room. They ask you questions to find out, okay, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Okay, and then once they get to a certain point where they've got enough information, then they give you a prescription. Anything prior to that is malpractice. And of course, what happens when they have malpractice, then they're going to face a lawsuit. So I take that really serious when I have someone come to me and say, well, my nephew can shoot the same video for $200. I said, well, great. Well, thank you for thinking of me. But unfortunately, there's more to it. And I keep it respectful. But I've had that happen where I said, you know what? Based upon what you shared, I said, that would be great for you for the price. I said, but as far as when it comes to the value, I said, you have to think about the aspect of making sure that you have the proper messaging in your video, because the foundation of everything that you put out there is going to be your messaging, and making sure that you have it structured properly, and making sure that you have the proper call to actions at the end. And for those that may not know that, you really have to have a call to action, because people need to be told what to do with your videos. In your video, you know, call here, email here, click here. You know, just those simple things will give you that return that you probably were not receiving in the past. And even if you haven't done video before, a lot of people, they don't do video sometimes because they're afraid of how they look on camera. They're not going to do well and so forth like that. So the value when it comes to me is that I coach you through every step of the process. I help you with the scripting. I make it as organic as possible. I provide you with a teleprompter if you need it, you know, and even with that, it still comes across in such an organic way where people think that you're just having a conversation with them. They don't realize that you've scripted it. They feel that you're personally talking to them. And that's what I help you with step by step. And that's where the value comes from.
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable, obviously, speaking in front of a camera or, you know, live, but for this was a little different, and I found your direction fantastic. I've never worked. That's not true. I did some TV work when I was young, but for the last 30 years, I've never worked with a professional, you know, directing me what to do or say, and it was just easy to understand what you wanted, and the result, it was amazing when I saw it. I have to tell you, because I do a lot of videos like this. And, you know, you hit some high points, some low points, and you try to create value. But in the video, you want to be really, really impactful. Every second is precious, and you really gave me the direction to make this point, that point, to look this way, to look that way. It was really a fun experience. Flashback to being on TV. So, okay, so the next step, if somebody's interested, obviously in my world, I have a team of agents who've been through Gateway to Mastery, Don Hobbs's program, which I went through, to establish a brand identity. I've done some social media work, and you were able to take exactly all the work I did and leverage it up and help me get up and get more value for that. Other people don't have that work. You're the place to start, because you'll help them identify that brand and that image that they want to create and get them off to the races with the beginning and the video. And like I said, I think you looked at me and hit me right away. Remember on our discovery call, you were kind of parroted back to me what I was trying to convey, and it was obvious right away that you got there. So thank you so much for that.
No problem.
So next step, if somebody's interested in learning more, reaching out, establishing a brand, looking for ways to generate more revenue by building their brand and getting into action, what would the next step be for somebody?
Well, the next step would be for somebody to visit my website at purposevideoservices.com. And if you scroll down slightly, you'll see the book now button, and that's how you schedule a discovery call with me. And that call is just 10 to 15 minutes of me finding out who you are, what you do, what you like to do, and what makes you different, and just to see if we're a good fit, to see, you know, for what you're looking to do. And even if you don't have any idea of what direction you'd like to go, I will give you ideas of the steps to take so that you can make sure that you have something to make an informed decision from. So once again, it's purposevideoservices.com.
And I'll tell you, I did that. I saw a client of mine that had hired you. I liked the work. I checked you out. I was on your website. I again saw why the work was the way it was. But I actually was initially booking you to talk to you about clients, not my own business. And then it got clear in our conversation that it made sense for me to retain you professionally and use your service myself, and we did that. And so it all just start with that book now button. It goes right in your calendar. I do the same thing with Calendly. It's a great way to schedule, make it convenient, and prepare as well to make time productive. So I urge you, if you're interested all in building your branding and using video as a way to generate revenue in a way that's profitable, give Damon a view here on his website. Again, purposevideoservices.com. Book an appointment, no cost, easy to talk to, a lot of fun guy. And Damon, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate getting a chance to share with you.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, Bill.